And I'm going to call the meeting to order. This is the meeting of the Monrovia Planning Commission on October 15th, 2025. And could I have everyone stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Chair Brown is excused and Vice Chair Rose will be serving as acting chair. Commissioner Austin?
Here.
Janasek?
Here.
Scheffler?
Here.
Stahira?
Here.
Vashani?
Here.
Acting Chair Rose.
Here. Okay, and we're going to move on to approval of the minutes. We have two sets of minutes, one from August 13th, the other from September 10th. And I ask now, are there any corrections to the minutes, or could I call for a motion
Do
to
you want a
approve?
motion for each?
Yes, please.
Okay. Then I move that we approve the meeting minutes for August 13th, 2025.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. How about minutes from September 10th, 2025?
I can do that too. I move to approve September 10th, 2025 minute meetings as proposed.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to public hearing items. Public hearing one, I think John is going to take care of that for us.
Yes, Chair, and good evening, Commissioners. Item one, we received a request to withdraw this application, so staff is pulling this item from the agenda, and there's no further action from the Planning Commission tonight.
Okay, and we don't have to take any action at all. So we'll move on to public hearing number two.
And Chair, before we move on to public hearing two, we should see if anyone has any public comment for items not on the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right, yes. Does anyone have any public items that are not on the agenda? We can hear those now before we move on. Doing a great job. Thank you. Okay, seeing none, hearing none, we'll move on. We'll move on to public hearing number two. This is for an ordinance number 2025-11, Planning Commission Resolution number PCR 2025-0003. And the request is an amendment to the Monrovia Municipal Code to add Section 17.12.070 and amend Section 17.52.010 to create incentives for the development of bungalow courts, allowing minor modifications to certain development standards for the placement of non-habitable, architecturally compatible accessory structures, and determine that the project is categorically exempt pursuant to California Code of Regulations, Section 15305, Class 5 minor alterations in land use limitations from the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA. And could I hear the staff report?
Yes, thank you very much, Chair, and members of the Commission. I appreciate you introducing that item. The purpose of this ordinance is to create a small but important incentive for bungalow court development, specifically allowing certain small open-air non-habitable structures such as arbors and trellises within the setback areas through a minor exception process. So just for some background, the bungalow courts are a defining part of Monrovia's architectural history. They first appeared in Southern California in the early 1900s as a way to provide modest, affordable multifamily homes that still felt like single-family cottages. Each home faced a shared landscaped courtyard, creating a friendly and walkable sense of community. They were also an early version of what we would now call missing middle housing. Our historic context statement describes bungalow courts as providing the privacy of a small dwelling in a shared semi-private landscape. In the previous slide, we saw an example, Harding Court, that was built in 1920 with 15 cottages. This is an image of Myrtle Court, which features duplexes surrounding a central craftsman home. These developments helped shape the scale and charm of our older neighborhoods. In 2022, the Development Review Committee approved a new bungalow court at 732 Mountain View Avenue. It was modeled after Pasadena's Gart's Court. This is a 1920s landmark shown on the left. The Mountain View project, pictured right, was very well received by the City Council and the city's preservation advocates, including the Monrovia Old House Preservation Group, who highlighted this as the right balance between housing supply and neighborhood character. In fact, you can see some of these images on display at the Monrovia Historical Museum, paying homage to this development type. So during construction of that Mountain View project, there was a decorative arbor installed to mark the courtyard entryway. Although it beautifully meshed with the bungalow court's design, staff discovered that the arbor didn't actually meet the front yard setback standard. Under the current code, arbors and trellises are treated the same as any other accessory structure, so there's no path to approve these within setback areas, even for these purely decorative open-air features. This situation revealed that there's a gap in the zoning code that makes it difficult to fully realize the design intent of these bungalow courts. So the purpose of this ordinance is to fill that gap. It adds section 17.12.070, incentives for bungalow court development, and amends section 17.52.110 related to minor exceptions. It formally defines bungalow court as a distinctive housing type, recognizing it in the zoning code for the first time, and it authorizes the Development Review Committee to grant minor exceptions for small open-air non-habitable decorative features like arbors and trellises and pergolas when they enhance a shared courtyard space. So here's what the ordinance does in practice. It encourages bungalow court development while protecting neighborhood character. It allows limited flexibility for small-scale courtyard structures. It sets clear size limits so features remain modest and pedestrian scaled. For example, the maximum height of 10 feet is imposed in the front yards and 8 feet tall within the side yards. Maximum width is set at 20 feet, maximum depth 8 feet in front yards, and in side yards 4 feet in width and 3 feet in depth. Each proposal would still need to go through a minor exception process where the DRC reviews its design and placement and safety. This ensures the flexibility needed without sacrificing any oversight. The ordinance is also fully consistent with the general plan land use policies 9.3 and 9.4, which call for monitoring residential standards to maintain compatibility and refining design guidelines for new multifamily housing. It also supports context-sensitive infill and keeps Monrovia's small-town scale intact. Also, under CEQA, this action is categorically exempt under Section 15305, Class 5, because it's just a minor alteration in land use limitations. It simply allows decorative, non-habitable structures with limited dimensional adjustments. So in summary, ordinance number 2025-11 is a very narrowly focused, context-sensitive update to our zoning code. It gives us a practical way to accommodate small design elements that define the character of bungalow courts while maintaining clear limits and review safeguards. Staff's recommending that the Planning Commission adopt resolution number 2025-0003, recommending City Council approval of this ordinance. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions of the Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Do the commissioners have any questions regarding the staff report?
I do.
Okay.
Thank you for the great report.
Thank you.
I agree, bungalow courts seem like a charming way to increase the housing stock in a neighborhood compatible way. What impact do we think this will have, like actually putting this in our zoning ordinance?
Well, if anything, it would encourage, hopefully, people to embrace these features, and hopefully, there are some that are existing, and they could be fixed if this, just by removing this small impediment. And also, as I mentioned earlier, there is some oversight with the Development Review Committee, making sure that it's not going to be an issue for health and safety reasons.
And where can bungalow courts be built within our current zoning?
They can be built in certain planned development areas and also multifamily residential zoning districts.
Above a certain amount, like above a certain density, or as long as they conform to the density
As long
of
as they
the
conform to
underlying?
the density. The case at the, on the Mountain View project, they were four individual units and then two ADUs in the back, which formed that U-shaped design.
Okay. And just one more. Can you tell us, are there any bungalow court construction projects in progress right now, or any permit applications out there?
Not at the moment, but there is a landmark that was recently approved last year, and the interesting feature of this landmark is that it was a duplex, a courtyard duplex, and its important feature was the courtyard, although it was a side-facing courtyard. It wasn't a front-facing. So the
Which-
side,
What property was that?
it's
out of
on
curiosity?
Foothill, and I think it's 423 East Foothill, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But it's a very interesting case of how it represents early multifamily development with a duplex in a courtyard shape. The challenge, though, is that the owner needs to make that visible, that courtyard visible to the public, because that's why it's important. And in order to do that, she has to give up a little bit of privacy. Right now, she has a very solid gate. So she recently submitted a request to do a side yard arbor as a way to enhance that entryway into the viewpoint through there. So that's the only other one I know of at this point.
Fascinating. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Okay, then at this time, I would like to open the public hearing and hear any testimony of persons in favor. I'm not going to ask for the applicant because we are the applicant. So if there's anyone in the audience that would like to speak in favor? Seeing none, anybody in the audience have concerns that they would like to express? Seeing none, then I will close this public hearing and move on to the commissioners for discussion and a motion.
I'll move to adopt Planning Commission Regulation Number PCR. Excuse me, does somebody else have something to say? Resolution Number PCR 2025-003, and recommend approval to the City Council.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Yes. Commissioner Austin?
Yes.
Janasek?
Yes.
Scheffler?
Yes.
Stahira?
Yes.
Vashani?
Yes.
Acting Chair Rose?
Yes. Thank you. Okay. That concludes our public hearings and administrative reports. I see that we have none, but I think we have some development updates.
Yes, good evening, Vice Chair. Just wanted to give you two updates. The first one is this afternoon, the Development Review Committee conducted an advisory review on the 701 South Myrtle Avenue project. So that project is making its way through the public hearing process. Next week, we will be sending out our 20-day public hearing notice, so the commission will be seeing it November 12th. So that one is moving along, and the final EIR for that project has been prepared, and it's on the city's website. And then last, but the other item I wanted to touch on is SB 79. Following our Planning Commission meeting last month, the city council, prior to that meeting, the city council had issued their a letter of opinion on that matter, and we shared that with the commission. As you know, that item did pass, signed by the governor, I think last Friday. And our team, I'm very, I know our team will be picking up our pace quickly to take a look at that bill and see how it affects the city of Monrovia. Yesterday afternoon, the city council had a special meeting with Assembly Member John Arbidian, and a good part of that conversation dealt with SB 79. And there, according to Mr. Harbidian, there are certain provisions that would allow the city to adopt a local alternative plan that's consistent with SB 9. So that's something that the staff will be obviously working and looking at. So I just wanted to give you that update. There is a lot to sift through, though, with that, so it might be some time before we can, bring something to the commission on that. So that concludes my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think this may be the all-time shortest meeting ever. Do any of the commissioners have any updates or announcements that they would like to make? Oh, my goodness, I feel guilty. All right, well, with that, I guess I will adjourn this meeting. And I get to use the gavel. There. It's officially closed at 7:48.